Hello students, welcome back to the second part of metals and non-metals. In this video, we are going to study the chemical properties of metal, especially what happens when we add water to metal or metal in water. So first we will try to write a general reaction. This is a small experiment demonstrating the same. We will take water, okay? We will take about 200 ml of water in a beaker and we will add magnesium to it. Let's see what happens. I'm adding water now. Just a second. You can see the color of water is not very clear in the video. But as soon as I add magnesium in the beaker containing water, you can see those bubble forming. Also, when I try to light it with a matchstick, it explodes or it pops. So what does this suggest? It suggests that our gas which is forming, we can conclude it as hydrogen. You can see here. Hydrogen gas is liberated. Okay. Metals in water. What happens when you add metal to water? Here, metal plus water gives you a metal oxide. That is, we are getting MgO. Okay, and some metal oxides are dissolvable, are soluble in water. So these metal oxides again react with the water and form metal hydroxide. You can tell magnesium hydroxide is formed here. So try to write an equation for this. The experiment which I showed, I've told you what happens to what converts to what. Try to write a chemical equation for this.
Register today at KLM Institute for free online classes, revisions, doubt clearance, private online and offline classes, Olympiad exams, and win prizes, scholarships, and much more.
And next, we will add potassium and sodium because they behave a bit differently. Again, we are taking water and we are adding sodium to it. You can see here, it reacts vigorously with water. It also gives out hydrogen gas, but it directly converts it to alkali. So these are the alkali students. KOH and NaOH, these are the alkali. You can see the potassium also reacts in the same way. It instantly catches on fire. Remember in the last experiment, we added a external source of flame, that is a matchstick or a flint. Here, the heat energy which is happening inside the reaction itself is enough to light the hydrogen gas. That's why we can see fire when we put metals like lithium, sodium, and potassium. So here are the reactions, students. Potassium in solid state, it is reacting with water in liquid state, okay? And it is forming a alkali, that is potassium hydroxide. You should have understood that this is the general reaction for, okay? And also we get to see hydrogen, and due to lot of heat energy, the hydrogen bubbles get exploded. Its same reactions happens with sodium. Okay, you can see here I've written down, we get NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide, H2 gas, and a lot of heat is generated. So students, let us see what happens when you add calcium to water. I will draw a calcium here. Just a minute. One white lump of calcium is here with you. If you are adding calcium to water, the calcium floats up. It floats up and comes here. Also, it produces H2 gas. You can see in the reaction, it will produce H2 gas and its respective hydroxide, that is calcium hydroxide. So it is a soluble oxide. Calcium oxide is soluble in water. It is in turn reacting with water to form calcium hydroxide. Aluminium and zinc or iron, all these three, if we put it to the cold water, they have no reaction at all, students. You get no reaction, but they do react with steam. Let's see a small experiment about that. So to see our metal sample is reacting with the steam, we will soak a wool or something that does not burn due to high heat, and it produces steam. So when you burn this, it produces steam and it reacts with the metal sample. Then it goes into the pipe here. It is completely air sealed, okay? And in the delivery tube, which is cooled by a water bath here, you can see hydrogen gas is formed here. Hydrogen gas is formed. So while you react these metals, such as aluminum, zinc, or iron, in normal water, it does not react, but with steam, it does. It forms the same. You can see here. H2O is not in liquid state here, it is in gaseous state because it is steam. It forms their respective oxide, that is aluminum oxide and iron oxide, and also produces lot of H2 gas. So these aluminum oxides and ferric iron oxides are insoluble in water, so they don't form any hydroxide as such. Now let us see what happens when you add gold, silver, or copper in your water. Let's start the reaction. I'm taking water. First, we will see how water reacts with copper. You can see no reaction. I am removing out copper. I am taking silver. You can see no reaction. I've kept it for sufficient amount of time. Also, when you add gold, there is no reaction. Why is that, students? Because they are the least reactive metals. So gold, silver, and copper are very non-reactive. They are comfortable in their state. They don't want to change their state. That's why when you buy pure ornaments of gold or silver, they don't get corroded or they don't get reacted with the atmospheric air or oxygen.
Give your imagination wings. If you're willing to write something, what are you waiting for? Share your ideas and thoughts. Let your ideas reach out to millions. Get your articles published through our blogs for free.
So next, let us see what happens when you react a metal with acid. We already know that we are taking metal and dilute acid. We studied this reaction in the previous acid, bases, and salts. So we get a salt plus hydrogen gas. So this is not limited to all the metals. So you can't tell all the metals react in the same way. Some of the metals react vigorously, such as magnesium, aluminium, and zinc. This is the order of reactivity, students. Magnesium is very reactive. It is more reactive than aluminum. It is more reactive than zinc, more reactive than ferrous, that is iron, more reactive than copper. So copper is the least reactive in this particular order of reactivity. We will study the order of reactivity in detail in the further slide. Now let us see what happens when you take a metal and a metal solution of other metal. Okay, metal solution in the sense metal salt. So we have copper sulfate as a metal salt. You can see the reaction. Let's pause it. You can see the reaction here. I added iron to copper sulfate. So copper sulfate plus iron gave me copper and iron sulfate. So what this reaction has been shown you before also. Where can you remember? Yes, it is in the chemical reactions and equations chapter. You can check that out also. Here we are getting double displacement reaction. Copper is losing its sulfate ion to iron. Sulfate is shifting to iron and the iron is getting the sulfate. So copper is losing sulfate, iron is getting sulfate. It is double displacement reaction. So what happens here? You can see we are adding metal A and salt solution of metal B, that is copper sulfate. Salt solution of metal A, these are in the product side. We are getting iron sulfate, and also the metal B is formed here. We can get copper from copper sulfate. So this is the reaction of metals with other metal solutions. So we've already spoken about the reactivity series. We will study that in detail in this slide. The reactivity series is a list of metals arranged in the order of their decreasing activities. That is, the most reactive is on the top and the least reactive is on the bottom. You can see here, we will take potassium, and if we add it just to water, you could see that it instantly catches on fire. So it is the most reactive metal in the reactivity series. Next comes the sodium, then calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, lead. Also, you can see hydrogen here. It is pretty non-reactive because it comes in the down part of the reactivity series. Also, copper, mercury, silver, and gold. These are mostly non-reactive. You need stronger chemicals to make them react. You also have something known as royal water. That is the mixture of 3:1 ratio concentrated HCl and concentrated HNO3. So this is the only solution that can dissolve gold, students, because gold is completely non-reactive to most of the metals. When you add gold to HCl, very concentrated HCl, it does not react. When you add gold to very concentrated nitric acid, that is HNO3, it does not react. But the mixture of these both in 3:1 ratio, you can melt gold also. You get gold solution. So this is known as royal water because that was the only solution where you could dissolve gold. So that is about the reactivity series, students, and we will study in the next part of the video how do metals and non-metals react, how do they interact with each other. Also, we will learn about octet configuration and electronic configuration. So see you in the next part, students.